All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the West Ham Media Tour here, presented by Hammers Polls. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It'd be much appreciated. Today, I have a special guest. I probably should have asked this before we went live, Alan, but um, I don't want to butcher your last name pronunciation. So could you just tell me how to pronounce it?
Uh, Rzepa.
Rzepa.
Yeah,
Alan Rzepa.
that's good
Um,
enough. Yeah.
Alan, yeah, I tried my best, right? Thanks for joining us, Alan. Appreciate it. How are you doing today?
Oh, good. Woke up, ate some breakfast, had a lecture on, online, and yeah,
And now you're here
going
talking to
well.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
best part of your day. Nice. Um, cool, man. Well, before we dive into um, all things West Ham, I always like to ask people before we, or I always like to ask people to start off a show. Why West Ham, right? Why choose this team to support? It's not for the faint of heart, surely. Um, yeah. So how did you become a West Ham supporter?
A lot of people asked me back in the day this question, but yeah, uh, some might have heard me talking about this. Um, mm, well, the background is basically my dad was a big Iron Maiden fan
Mm,
when he was like 20, in his 20s. And one of the Iron Maiden members, I think Steve Harris is his name, is a big West Ham fan. And on his guitar, he had a West Ham badge, actually. And my dad, being a big football fan as well, uh, kind of decided to watch West Ham and grew to kind of love it. And when I was young, my dad like was kind of trying to get me into West Ham. I was more Barca fan with Ronaldinho and
hmm
Eto'o and such. Um, but around 2009, 10, when Dino left, I was heartbroken and was like, well, I'm not going to watch Barcelona anymore because I couldn't care less about the club. Um, and I was just like watching football here and there. And my dad uh, took me to Bowling Ground for the first game in the Premier League back from the Championship
hmm
against Villa. And I was just like starstruck uh, about the stadium, the atmosphere. And as time went on, I used to watch more and more. And that's how where I am right now, a West
Nice,
Ham
man.
fan.
Yeah, the there, it's something special for sure.
Yeah.
And no matter how good we play, no matter what renovations are done to the London Stadium, it'll never quite be replicated, and that's okay. I think it's meant to be that way. But yeah, special place, and yeah, that's a cool story. I did know that Iron Maiden had a West Ham fan, so. I think that's probably the first story though I've heard of someone being West Ham because of that. So that's why I ask. I love the unique stories, the unique journeys. We all have our way of getting there. Um, and you're a journalist, right? That's what you study at uni.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
so I know you. I know. I know you used to cover West Ham. I'm not sure if you still do. Do you still, or are you more focused
Kind
on the
of.
kind of? Okay.
Yeah, trying to move more into Polish journalism because I have pretty much no experience there. And as much as having 3 year plus experience in journalism in English and covering West Ham and other things, it doesn't really help in Poland
Mm,
regarding jobs. So I'm trying to move forward.
changing the focus, right?
Yeah.
Well, so I guess I'm just curious, like how you got into journalism, like why I guess why journalism, right? Why that field of study?
Um, well, I had no idea what to do after school for a good while. When I was young, I wanted to be a footballer. I was probably most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then an injury, two injuries, and that kind of faded away. So I was in a bit of a limbo for a good few years. Um, and I was talking a lot on Twitter. Yeah, just talking the usual shit when you're 15, 16. Uh, but someone from Vowel uh, like saw it and asked me to if I didn't want to join his office covering West Ham, and I was like, I I have nothing else to do, so why not? And that kind of grew on me, and I became the editor after 2 or 3 months. So, and yeah,
And the rest is history.
yeah,
Nice, man. Well, let's talk about our favorite club. I actually, before we dive into this current season, I actually want to talk a little bit about transfers, specifically the summer window. Now, um, h- I actually wanted to talk about the summer window in context of the January window. Obviously, the January window was very frustrating, I think, for everyone. While most West Ham fans, including myself, didn't have a lot of hopes in terms of signing a lot of players or even any star players or even really anyone, buying anyone. I thought, oh, well, we'll at least get a loan in, right? We'll at least get a loan in, and we got in no one. We got in absolutely no one, for a squad that was already thin, um, and injuries to the likes of Bowen, and little knocks to others have highlighted that fact again. I was talking to Jas. I'm not sure if you know Jas, but
yeah.
Um, Jas was saying that if West Ham were to sort of fade away this season, and they haven't yet, I mean, they're still in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, but if they were and sort of go out with a whimper, and this summer window is yet another window of just frustration and disappointment in terms of bringing players in, he could obviously see Moyes getting sacked this calendar year if West Ham fail to get off to any sort of decent start next season. Now, I'm not going to ask you if you think that's the case, but what I am going to ask you is how important is this summer transfer window, given given the position West Ham are at, sort of cracking into that top six, pushing for that. But also on top of that, the fact that we didn't bring anyone in January. How important is this upcoming summer window for Moyes and for West Ham as a whole?
Um, I think that the summer window will be massive if we want to keep Rice and Bowen. I think
Mm,
because Moyes is probably going to stay because the board, at least Gold and Brady, I think, are big fans of Moyes, so he is going to stay no matter what, unless we are 20th in the league with
hmm
5 points. So maybe then not necessarily. But if we're doing well, keeping ourselves around the 10th position, maybe even higher, he'll be fine. But if we want to keep Rice and Bowen, we need to show ambition. We need to show these players that we want to mean business going forwards. And if we don't, then well, yeah, bigger clubs are looking around for them already, so they will be off in no time if we decide to not bring anyone in.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So you're basically saying that our summer window activity can actually make or break the case for Rice or Bowen staying or leaving within
Yeah,
the summer itself.
yeah, I think so.
Okay, okay. Um, who do we sell this summer, and what positions do we really need to focus on upgrading, in your opinion, the most?
Mm, I wouldn't necessarily sell anyone because, as you said, the squad is paper thin. Um, Maybe like the fringe players, maybe Masuaku. As much as I love him, he's just not up to standard anymore. Unless he proves himself after the injury now, then maybe he can stay. But because he's got a contract until 2024.
Yeah.
So maybe. Um,
But there are some players that
Also,
are running out of contract, right? Like
yeah,
Yarmolenko, for example.
Yarmolenko will be leaving. I'm pretty sure,
Hmm.
um, because of his wages
Hmm.
mainly, and his age and injury proneness. Ogbonna will most likely stay. Fabianski will most likely stay for another year.
Hmm.
Mm, More sales. I'm not really sure that there's anyone we should be selling specifically.
Okay. And positions that we need to upgrade the most. Like, what are your top three positions if you had to give me them?
First would be left back for sure. We need an upgrade since 2017, and we've not done so since.
Hmm.
After Cressel's injury, we really should have bought another left back that would be a starter, and we didn't. Then another centre back, because as much as Dawson is good and Diop's potential, uh, we need someone to give us more options at the back, and then obviously striker.
Yeah, the obvious
That would
one.
be the main three.
Yeah, the position that we really haven't bought for in years, and technically we don't
Yeah.
really even have an experienced Premier League striker on the bench. We have a converted winger. Um, so you mentioned Rice and Bowen earlier, specifically about Rice, and I actually asked we asked a poll. Um, the question was that the last time that Declan Rice faces Spurs in a West Ham shirt last weekend? So I mean, essentially, is he leaving this summer? And I think everyone has their own opinion on this topic right now. Um, what are your thoughts?
Mm, uh, I don't think so. I really don't think so because mm, he obviously loves the club, and
Hmm.
if we show him the ambition and bring in good players, despite finishing in Europe or winning the Europa League or not, even if we finish eighth and go out the Europa League against Lyon, I think he's going to stay if we show him that we want to keep him and we want to move forward.
So,
If we don't do it, and there will be a bid coming in, a big money bid, because most likely there will be one or two coming in. If not, then thank God. But if there is, he might push for a transfer. I think so.
yeah, I think it's probably dependent on upon which team bids, right?
Yeah.
You know, if it's Manchester United, there's been obviously rumors to United. I don't know why he would leave West Ham for Manchester United at the moment. As funny as that is, to come out of my mouth, there really is no reason to go there. If it's a Chelsea, I understand his reasoning, right? He has friends there. He grew up a Chelsea fan, etc. But overall, Alan, I I agree with you. Um, the majority of people I've spoken with have not. They've said, "Oh, he's gone. He's gone if we don't make Champions League." I certainly don't think it's that simple. It's not like he's 27, 28 years old with 1 year left on his deal, right? He's 22, I believe. He'll be 23 next season. He has technically 2 years left on his deal, but the club have an option for a further year. So it's essential for all intents and purposes. It's 3 years after this one. The club have all the leverage. The club have all the leverage, and like you said, he loves the club. I mean, can you really see him? I mean, he's not going to pull a Payet or an Arnautovic and push for a move like that. He certainly wouldn't, right?
I don't think so.
No, no, I don't think
Yeah.
so either. It is interesting though, Alan. A lot of people that I've spoken with have said that he's leaving the club. He's leaving the club. He's leaving the club. Yet, when we asked if that was the last time Declan Rice faces Spurs in a West Ham shirt, the vast majority of people said no. They actually said that Declan Rice will be in a West Ham shirt facing Spurs next season. Um, I guess last question in terms of like convincing Rice to stay. If you're Declan Rice, what do you need to see this summer to stay? Is it a certain number of players coming in? Is it a certain type of player coming in, like a top out and out striker? Like if you're Declan Rice, what are some of the top things you need to see from the club in order to be convinced to say, okay, let's give this another go?
First of all, the quality of the signings. Like, it's all fine signing players like Vlasic and Kral. I like them, obviously, but we need to do more. And the talks in the media about Calvin Phillips, and really we should be signing Calvin Phillips if we want to keep Rice at the top of happiness,
Hmm.
because they're friends, big friends from the national team, and they know how to play with each other. And I think Phillips would be a massive upgrade on Suchek. So that would be my first target, and then obviously a striker. Um, I don't really think Rice necessarily cares if it's going to be Darwin Nunez or Adam Armstrong. I
Hmm.
think he just wants to see a strengthening and possibly buying two strikers, or at least buying one and then loaning in another one,
Hmm.
because we are very thin on that front, and Moyes kind of sometimes likes to play with two strikers. So yeah, that would be it. Calvin Phillips, and then all around strengthening of the team.
Yeah, but Alan, how confident are you that that's going to happen, knowing this board? Yeah, not
50-50,
50-50,
kind of.
right? Certainly
Yeah.
not 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
obviously not.
that's the issue, man. I think it's just like we can tweet all we want, we can talk all we want about it, but the guys with the checkbooks, unfortunately, are the ones to make those decisions, and their track record isn't the best. But nonetheless, moving on, let's talk about this actual team. Obviously, it was a tough result against Spurs last weekend. Tottenham 3, West Ham 1. I think it was always going to be tough after playing
Yeah.
120 minutes a few days before. Spurs had an extra day of rest. They didn't play 120 minutes of European competition, um, and I mean, they were the better side from really from start to finish. We had a little spell there early in the second half, um, but besides that, not a whole lot to offer. I think it's probably the least the least amount of noise I've heard on Twitter after a poor West Ham performance, given where we were at with Sevilla. But um, just thoughts on that loss specifically, in your opinion. Do you think that loss really sort of like officially knocks us out of the top four race?
Mm, I think the top four race was done
It was
in
already done.
January.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Arsenal are too good right now to for anyone even to challenge them. Yeah, but we just need to keep ourselves in the fifth to seventh spot
Hmm.
and just go onwards in the Europa League. Because yeah, top four was always going to be tough, and Arsenal hit a massive run of form and are playing incredibly well. So that's pretty much done, and that's been done since our run of form in January.
Gotcha. You were talking about what we should be shooting for, right? That fifth to seventh place, maybe another a little bit more of a Europa League run. When it's all said and done in late May and the season's over, what would West Ham need to do from here on out in order for you to say, you know what, this was a successful season? Or would you say that no matter what at this point, no matter what happens from here on out? I mean, what does a successful season look like to you for this West Ham side?
It's already been a successful season in my eyes because going for Sevilla, it's like the really top of performances we could have put. Um, Although I would be really unhappy if we drop out of the Europa League places. European places at least. I'll be
Yeah, the
really
top seven.
disappointed. Yeah, I'll be
Mm,
really disappointed if we do so because of how well we are playing at the start of the season and how well we're doing in the Europa League. Going next season without Europe would be kind of underwhelming.
surely, yeah. I mean, I think these European nights have just left us craving for more. I'm curious. Have you had the chance to get over there for a game this season? And if so, does it?
No,
No, haven't.
unfortunately not.
Oh, that's okay. Um, I mean, let's talk about some European competition. Obviously, West Ham go through on aggregate against Sevilla. So let's first talk about that performance. I mean, obviously both of us were watching on TV, but I mean you could tell that atmosphere was rocking from the first kick of the ball. West Ham were on it, the better side, and I think over the two legs were the better side overall slightly, and I think deserved to go through. Um, I was telling friends leading up to the tie, if we can beat Sevilla in that competition, West Ham can beat anyone in that competition, surely. Um, what do you think about that? Do you agree with that? And just overall thoughts on our performance for Sevilla?
Yeah, I agree that we are better than Sevilla in both legs. Um, yeah, we just showed more professionalism than them, and maybe I'd say that we are better tactically
Mm,
because we really did everything right to keep Nesiri and Rafa Mir from getting any chances.
hmm
And when Nesiri did, Ariola made a crucial save.
hmm Yeah,
Um, yeah, without Bowen, uh, we really had to do something else, and we did. And I think it was probably one of the best performances in recent years.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, from start to finish, it was
Yeah.
an excellent performance. I wonder though, do you think, and I guess this sort of gets into the draw against Lyon. Obviously, in the quarterfinals, West Ham have the first leg at home versus Sevilla. The second leg was at home. Do you think it was helpful in that second leg to sort of know where we stood? Okay, yeah, we're down one goal. We know what we need to do. We need to score. We need to win. Do you think that was helpful? And do you think that having the first leg at home does serve as a disadvantage?
I think it did help because obviously playing at home is always a massive help for players because you don't have 10,000 people supporting you in the stands, but 60,000,
Hmm
which is probably mental for the players. Um, and regarding the Lyon game, I don't really know how it's going to go because Lyon are kind of not playing well. And they're 10th in Ligue 1. So if we manage to beat them like 2-3-0 at home in the first leg, I think we'll be fine for the second leg.
What's your prediction overall on the quarterfinal? I mean, on both legs overall. Do you think we're going through?
I think so, yeah. I think we're going to go through. Um, regarding the scores, maybe a 2-0 win at home and then a 1-0 draw away.
It's interesting, Alan, because as you said, our top four hopes are gone. In your eyes, they were gone a long time ago. Obviously, still battling for those European places, fifth to seventh. Um, but I wonder now that we've made the quarterfinals, and we can see the draw ahead of us: Lyon, Barcelona, Frankfurt final. Well, we're so close, right? You can sort of start to believe that it could happen. I wonder in terms of priority balance. Europa League versus the Premier League. Obviously, you have the Thursday Sunday schedule. We're still fighting for European place in the Premier League, but at the same time, we obviously want our tip top best lineup for the quarterfinal and potentially beyond. What's the priority for you right now? Is it finishing in those European places in the Premier League, or is it just going all out in the Europa League, even if that means that you need to put out a few youngsters for a Premier League game or two and potentially sacrifice some points?
I think I'm going to agree with David Moyes here. Premier League is always the priority
Mm,
because even if we go through Lyon and somehow go through Barcelona and then lose in the final, and then we sacrifice our Premier League position for that, we essentially go out with nothing, an eighth place finish, and a loss in the Europa League final. So the Premier League should be the priority. If we go through, maybe even win the Europa League, then that would be insane and incredible, an incredible achievement for the players and the club overall. But Premier League should always be the priority.
gotcha. I mean, I actually disagree. I think because because when I say the Europa League is the priority, what I mean by that is every Europa League game, and again, it could just be two more. You put you put the absolute top squad you can put out, and obviously Moyes is going to do that. But what I mean by that is even if I have a player or two that, I don't know if they could give me 90 minutes on Thursday and then 90 minutes on Sunday. I think what you're saying is you would say give that player 90 minutes on Sunday in the Premier League instead of going all out on Thursday against Lyon or whoever we play. I mean, am I understanding you correctly?
In a way, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess
If
it's
you have
situation by
a
situation too.
yeah, but we should really be playing the top team in every single game.
Hmm.
And if there are fitness doubts, like let's say if Bowen comes back and then he's maybe ready for Lyon, but then he would be 100% ready for the Premier League, I wouldn't play him against Lyon.
Mm, gotcha. Okay. That that makes sense. I mean, I certainly think in that situation where you're dealing with an injury and if someone's not 100% fit, then no, it makes sense to delay it. But I don't know, man. It's just like I said, if we could beat Sevilla, we could beat anyone, and we're so close, right? We're just so close, and it would be such an amazing achievement if we won. Let me ask you this: would you go to Seville even if you didn't get a ticket and we
I
were in
would
the
certainly
final?
try, yeah.
Yeah,
I would
I
love to be there.
yeah. Even if I didn't get a ticket, I think I'd go just to experience that.
Yeah.
It would be something. But I mean, let's talk about the tournament. You said that we'd go through against Lyon. Um, they drew the semifinals as well. The winner of West Ham Lyon plays the winner of Barcelona and Frankfurt. I mean, do you think that we'll be playing um, at the Camp Nou in a month's time?
Well, I think so, but on the other hand, um, Barcelona are kind of sometimes playing incredibly well and sometimes delivering a very poor performance.
Mm,
So if they somehow manage to lose against Frankfurt, then we should really have an easy way to the final. But as you can tell by yesterday's result of Italy versus
yeah.
Northern Macedonia, everything's possible. So Frankfurt just shuts the defensive line down and doesn't let Barcelona shot and goal, and then scores a late winner on penalties. So
Hmm.
everything's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess then you'd say in that situation, if Frankfurt were to actually beat Barcelona, then you'd have to say, well, I mean, if they're beating Barcelona, especially, I mean, because Barcelona is in pretty good form right now, but you'd have to say if they beat Barcelona, then they could also beat anyone, right? So it's like, well, yeah, you'd probably rather play Frankfurt than Barcelona, but at the same time, if they're beating Barcelona, their confidence is at an all-time high. They're probably going to play well. It's still going to be a tough test. Um,
Yeah.
I know that the fans would be absolute carnage out there, given what happened in Seville between the two sets of fans when they didn't play,
Yeah.
let alone when they played. Well, we'll wrap it up here, Alan. I know you're a busy guy, so I'm gonna ask you for an overall prediction right now. Um, Overall prediction about where we're gonna finish in Europa League and Premier League. So place in the Premier League table, and how far do we get in Europe?
Sixth place finish in the Premier League and a semi-final loss against Barcelona.
Semi-final
I
loss
think
against
so.
Barca. Okay.
That's my objective mind telling me. Yeah.
Yeah. Your mind, not your heart, right?
Yeah.
Your heart says.
Europa League winners all day long.
Same here, man. Same here. I don't know, man. I think I'm with you on the Europa League. I think we'll finish seventh, personally, which I certainly wouldn't mind. Um, a sixth place finish last year and a seventh place finish this year for West Ham standards is excellent. So I certainly wouldn't stuff my nose at that. I know there are some that are top four or bust, and I'm just not
Yeah, no.
privy to that. You got to remember where we were just 2.5 years ago. But um, yeah, with Europa League, I think I'm with you with my mind. Barcelona semifinal, but with my heart, you know, we're celebrating on May 18th. Um, some of us crying our eyes out. But Alan, I'll wrap it up there, man. Thank you so much for joining. Stick around. I'll end the broadcast and we'll chat really briefly. Oh, did you develop a question that you want to put out there for the fans at all, or no?
No, I couldn't. Yeah,
Okay, maybe after the show, if you think of something, you could DM it.
sure.
But yeah, man. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it as always, and yeah, come on, you Irons.